How are you? Welcome to Literary Gladiators. My name is Charles Galizia, and this is now, I believe, my 5th individual video. I'm hoping you'll enjoy it. I wonder how the weather's doing lately. Got the buzz cut. Anyway, I wanted to discuss a poem that I found, and it's actually a piece of a poem. It's A. Housman's A Shropshire Lad. However, upon further research, it's actually a whole collection of poems. I think there's 36 of them. I could be, just wanted to double check. Yeah, I believe there's 36 of them. This one is number 35, and this one, the name of this poem is On the Idle Hill of Summer. A Shropshire Lad, like I said, is a collection. I thought it was just a poem, but no. Good thing you can research. It's in, I picked this piece because it, if you want, I will post it. I'll find a way to post it. Josh is excellent with that. I'm not too good with, technology. When I sub, I had a 4th grader show me how to turn my phone on when I first got it. So, yeah, that's not good. Anyway, I chose this specific poem because I have a book that I was given from my parents, whom I love very much. It was a book simply called The Drum Book, and it came out in 1997. It was published in England. That's when it was actually published. I will leave a link for that as well. I'll put a link up for that, and I'll give Josh a cookie for that as well. Very last page, very last, in the acknowledgments and whatnot, there was the very first stanza, and I'll read it to you because this is why I said to myself, I want to use that, because this book was, like I said, printed in England and published in England 1997. It's now 2016. A lot has changed. Basically, it talks about the history of the rock and roll drum set from 1920s all the way up to, at that time, the 1990s. And I've actually read that thing cover to cover and used a majority of that for my thesis in college for drum taps, how drums were used. So check into that if you'd like. Anyway, it's an iambic pentameter. I can talk. On the idle hill of summer, sleeping with the flow of streams, far I hear the steady drummer, drumming like a noise in dreams. That was the very first stanza, and that's also the stanza that is in the very last page. It's in very small print too. You literally need a magnifying glass to see it. And it's A. Housman. Excuse me. A. Housman. 1859 to 1936. He lived a pretty good life. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Where I got all of this, it was the Poetry Foundation, and this was originally published in 1896. So, being that I got a D in math class in high school, you do the math on that one. I think he was quite young, because back then medicine was not as good as it is today. And people, you're coming up on 30, oh God bless you. Anyway, still. A little bit about A. Housman himself. Wasn't really well received, shall we say, when this poem came out. This work, I should say. It's not a poem per se, it's a work exactly. When he was in college, he wrote all of this and composed it, and once he had it first published, it wasn't accepted as well, and the reviews and this was when I said Poetry Foundation. It was then more popular in America than it was in England, because we all know A. Housman was a British writer. Let's see. Yes. Lukewarm or adverse were some of the critics. What were some of the words, the terms the critics were using at the time? Anyway, it was sold so slowly that Lawrence Housman, at the end of 2 years, brought up the last few copies. That's how, But anyway, that's from a gentleman who wrote it. Keegan Paul was the one who had it published, and it made sense. Edit this, let's change this a little bit, but I'm gonna, it also says here, there wouldn't have been. He printed only 500 copies, and he said to A. Housman, "You're not getting. I don't. No." He insisted, as it says here, that he take no royalties. So, anyway, A. Housman is very accessible, in my opinion, because it's all about coming of age. We'll say, war going on. The countryside, very nice, very beautiful poetry, and this one here depicts it, I think, very well. And going on to the second stanza, of course, this will be posted so you can read it and have your own interpretation. But for me, this talks about on the idle hill of summer, sleeping with the flow of streams. I just read that to you. So, for I hear the steady drummer drumming like a noise in dreams. It's 2. Far and near and low and louder, on the roads of earth go by, dear to friends and food for powder, soldiers marching all to die. East and west, on fields forgotten, bleach the bones of comrades slain. Now we're talking about war here. Lovely lads and dead and rotten, none that go return again. That's something else he talked about. Death. Far the calling bugles hollow, high the screaming fife replies. Gay, happy, the files of scarlet follow, woman bore me, I will rise. That basically is, that's actually the whole poem itself in this collection. So, here's my take on it. Let's pretend I'm the one laying on the hill, summer. Yes. Good. Relaxing. Oh, what's that? I hear drums. War drums, probably, because going into the second stanza, there are what seems like they're coming, they're marching through. Basically, it's a parade. We'll say, for example, it's a parade. I'm the spectator watching the parade, and they're coming. And it's just started. They're coming, and they're coming. And it's getting louder. But this is, I believe, unsuspecting to him. And it's low and louder. So apparently that, for me, would be such quiet. And you know, like I just said, that the analogy about the parade, which I've been in many of them. I'm in a Scottish band. I don't even have to repeat that. For our new viewers, I'm the musical director. I hope you like our music. Dear to friends and food for powder. Now, back then, we didn't have a lot of what we have today. So, powder was musket powder. They had muskets, and it took about 35 minutes to load. So apparently this food for powder, I'm assuming they took their own food and they gave it in because they apparently weren't doing so well. And they said, look, here's some of our food, we need some of the powder, which was actually stuffed inside the musket. I'm not allowed near those things, not going into that. But still. And then soldiers marching all to die. That's self-explanatory. He's talking about death, war, coming of age. And the coming of age seems to come in at the very last line in the last stanza. Woman bore me, I will rise. I'm a little unclear on that one. Maybe you can leave a link, a comment, subscribe, like. Tricked you. But still, let me know what you think of that very last stanza. Now we're coming into the coming of age with, you know, males finding females and whatnot. Woman bore me, I will rise. Anyway, that's the very last line in the last stanza. Bleach the bones of comrades slain. When I see bleach, I'm not thinking of Clorox, because obviously back then that wasn't a thing. We know that. When you think of bleach, you think of white. Bones are white, usually. Obviously, these soldiers are slain. As I was saying earlier, they're food for powder. They traded that, from what I believe, from what I can see from this, because we need this gunpowder. But by then, it's already too late. The enemy, or whoever, got them. So now they're being buried. And it, lad is British for boy, in case you didn't know that. Most of you might be saying, I know that's stupid. Just in case you didn't, now you do. Lovely lads are dead and rotten. Really nice. None that go return again. We know what that means. But anyway, well, like I said, bleach. Are we blessing? Are we having a funeral? Because when you, from what I think, when, and of course this is my interpretation. It's open to everyone. When you die, you're covered in white. That's the symbol of purity. White is pure. That's what I was told. And I'm open about it. I'm Catholic. I work at my church for free. Thank you, Father. Anyway, all of taking religion out of this, but that's what I'm assuming that was, because the minute you have the casket, and I've played at funerals, like I said, I don't want to, with the Scottish band I play in, there's a lot of things that go on. And from my own personal family, etc., everything, the coffin is covered in white. And how do they clean things? Usually with bleach. I don't think you can do that with church materials. Anyway, I digress majorly, but still, white, pure. Something tells me innocence, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little wrong on that one. It was just a shot in the dark. That was a bad pun because this is about war. Anyway, and this last stanza, far the calling bugles hollow, high the screaming fife replies. I don't have to read this to you. You all know it. You'll see it. I'm assuming now the author, or not the author, we all make that assumption, a lot of us. The speaker of this poem here is, maybe he was in the war. Maybe he got involved somehow. I don't know exactly. This is all interpretation. If A.E. Housman was right here, he'd be saying, really, dude, that's your take on it? Sorry, okay. But still, anyway, that's my take on A Shropshire Lad, number 35, on Idle Hill of Summer. The reason I like this poem a lot is A, because it involves music and drums, because drums, as I said in my drum taps video, please, if you haven't watched it, give it a watch. Even if it's for the first 5 minutes, still. But it was, that very first stanza was put in a drum book, the drum book, and I believe I actually have that link up in my drum taps. So there's a little bit of a connection right there, and that's when I said, And I was sitting down actually, I'm thinking, what can I do for another individual video? What that people might like. So anyway, that's it for right now. Thank you for joining us, Literary Gladiators. Like, comment, subscribe, and as Josh would say for now, keep reading.